Hey everybody, my name is Caitlin Rubenstein and I am here to share some of Workman Publishing's latest and greatest with you. Workman has a number of imprints and distributee clients, so you'll be seeing some new titles from them as well. All right, diving right in. First things first, I want to make sure that you have a moment to jot down this URL. This will give you access to download all of the slides that you're going to see today, which include, ISBNs, and covers review information, things that you want to have on hand. You'll also be able to request titles through NetGalley, and I can send them to you there, or if I have physical copies, which some I do and some I don't, my email is at the end, and I will do my best to get you that if I have it. So definitely take a look here. But again, I have limited quantities of physical galleys, so be sure to check on NetGalley first. Hopefully that gave you enough time to jot down this URL. If not, again, my email is at the end and I'm happy to send you the link. Some 2020 titles that are not to be missed. These are books that came out earlier in the year that I just wanted to remind you are available. So we have Tigers Not Daughters by powerhouse author Samantha Mabry. This is magical realism at its absolute best. Anna Torres has died and left her three sisters wondering what happened, and really left them to grieve. It's beautiful, it's haunting, it's everything. It's one of my favorite books of 2020, so I hope that you enjoy it too. Don't check out this book as middle grade, a really fun epistolary from the Kleiss sisters. An epistolary, for those who don't know, although I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir, is a story written in a collection of correspondences, letters, text messages, email chains, newspaper articles. Really fun, really great if you have any readers that are interested in graphic novels. Either they're just starting out or they're already avid graphic novel fans. This is a great one for them. In the role of Bree Hutchins, this is the second book by author Nicole Melleby. The first book that she wrote with Algonquin Young Readers is Hurricane Season. And if you have not read Hurricane Season, please, please, please read Hurricane Season, but then also pick up in the role of Bree Hutchins. Bree Hutchins follows Bree, and she is in Catholic school, and she's navigating, just the end of 8th grade. She is coming of age. She has so much on her mind, and she's also dealing with her budding sexuality. So what that means for her is that she's recognizing that she is gay, and she is navigating that in this Catholic school space, as well as a family that is fairly devout. So it's really interesting. The dynamics are really wonderful, and I loved the relationship between Bree and her mother. It reminded me a lot of mine with my mother. So I think, it's going to be great for any teen interested in just a really wonderful contemporary fiction story. Next, in nonfiction for middle grade readers, we have the next in the Everything You Need to Know to Ace in One Big Fat Notebook. We have computer science and coding. This book is great really for anyone who's interested in computer science or coding. You do not need to be a middle schooler. If you are just starting out, this is the book for you. It's not a fill-in book. I do want to dispel that concern. It is just a study guide. So it says notebook because the text is in a notebook style, but it is truly not a fill-in. It is perfect for circulation. Then we have Who Got Game Baseball. This is written by Newbery Honor-winning author Derek Barnes. It's got 2-star reviews, and it's really wonderful. It's amazing but true stories, little-known facts about America's favorite pastime. The Screaming Hairy Armadillo is super fun to say and never gets old. It's such a fun book. It's weird and wacky animals, their names, and how they were named. And at the end, there's a really fun name generator. So I think kids are going to love this one. It has a star review. And How to Be a Person, which is last but certainly not least on this slide. How to Be a Person is from Story. That's the publisher that publishes that. And it's hilarious. I really feel like this book could be given to anyone. It is perfect for your middle grade students and readers. patrons, but it's also really wonderful for high school or, an adult. It teaches you to remember to pick up that sock on the floor and put it in the hamper, to do the dishes without being asked, write thank you notes, water the plants when they're looking a little sad. It even teaches you how to be a good host at a party, a dinner party. So I think it's a really fun book. It's written in a really funny way with comical illustrations like you see on the cover. But it's pre-adulting at its finest and will make for a generation of really fantastic college roommates. Recent publications, meaning like they just hit the shelves. We have Furia by Shamile Saeed Mendez, and it is just fantastic. It's amazing. It's the second book that Reese's YA Book Club has picked it for September. It follows Camila, and she is really kind of trapped between two realities: the girl that she is when she's at home with her family, and then the girl who she longs to show everyone, including her family. She needs to be this straight-laced, buttoned-up girl for her mom and her dad and her brother at home, but she's actually an incredible soccer star. And there's a budding romance in the book, of course, because it's YA and it's amazing. So be sure to check this one out. It is just published, but if you send me an email, I may be able to get you a NetGalley link still. And it has a starter review. Scapegrazers has two star reviews. This is from Erewhon Books, which is our science fiction fantasy imprint. This follows a lesbian witch and her high school coven. Really fun, especially if you're into this genre or you're interested in this genre. It's going to be a trilogy. Skunk and Badger. Oh, Skunk and Badger, my heart. I love this book so much. This book has 3-star reviews. It's just so sweet. It follows the very adorable skunk, as you can see, with his hand outstretched to Badger. He's so hopeful, and curmudgeony Badger, who looks at him like, no, thank you. The Odd Couple story here is at its finest and is sure to be a modern classic from Newbery Honor winning author Amy Timberlake and Caldecott medalist John Klassen. It's just perfect. Body Talk, which is YA nonfiction. This is an anthology of stories, comics, illustrations, essays of 37 different voices. And this shares not just body image in terms of shape and size, but there's body dysmorphia, there is disability representation, as well as conversations about gender identity. It's really important for teens to interact with this book. There are two other books in the series, Here We Are, as well as Don't Call Me Crazy, and I highly recommend those as well. Here We Are is about voices of feminism, and Don't Call Me Crazy covers the mental health conversation. If You Go With Your Goat to Vote, which is so much fun to say, a rhyming picture book from publisher The Experiment, which is so timely and so important right now. Voting is such a wonderful right that we have. And I think teaching our young readers about the right to vote and why it is so important to vote is just the most important thing that we can instill. So this book shows that, teaches that in a really fun, adorable way, as you can see as they sashay into the voting booth. The Constitution Decoded, we are flowing nicely into middle grade. This one as well is super timely and really important. This dives deep into the Constitution and, takes a look at what's working, what isn't, what words were used, why they were used, and how they have been taken over the course of the development of our country. I think it's really fun, but it's also really informative and really important. So definitely check this one out. And then just like our middle school series for the Big Fat Notebooks, we have chemistry and geometry in our high school series. So we are aging up with our readers. We're going from middle school to high school, and we're starting with chemistry and geometry, which I definitely could have used when I was in high school. Last but certainly not least is a brand new cozy mystery series for middle grade readers, Premeditated Myrtle, with 2-star reviews. Myrtle is what I like to think of as a Victorian Harriet the Spy. She's kind of always inserting herself in things, and happily she has inserted herself to save the day. So definitely check that series out. Book 1 and 2 published at the same time, which I love when that happens with a series. You never have to wait for the second book. On to the good stuff, the new stuff. Busy Little Hands is a brand new series from Story Publications, Art, Play, and Food Play. And this really just opens up the creativity, imagination, and, just fun of getting messy, being creative, and seeing what you can make with what you have, whether that's tools and crafts and popsicle sticks and markers, or your food. I think, playing with your food is really wonderful. I have a 5-month at home, and he loves playing with his period carrots. So I think it's really important that, playing with your food is incorporated, because it builds really strong, healthy relationships with food as kids grow up. ABCs of Black History by Rio Cortez. Oh, I love this book so very much. Not only is it beautiful by the illustrations from Lauren Sommer, but they're also just a really gorgeous, beautiful story. I've written a line down here to read to you because I think, it really resonates that there's not just A, B, C with a corresponding word for each letter. There's multiple words to really dive deep into the meaning of each letter and what that means for Black history. R is for rise, to reach for the top, relentlessly striving, refusing to stop. What I also love about this book is that there's back matter. I can hear cheers from here, virtually from all of you. There's a timeline, there's information on the events, people, and places mentioned throughout the book. And people like Mae Jemison, W.E.B. Du Bois, Sam Cooke, The Little Rock Nine. It's really just a beautiful and important book that I think will change the scope of what an alphabet book will look like from here on out. So embarrassing. Oh my gosh, this one's so fun because everyone has something that was so embarrassing. But even further than that, you have something that was so embarrassing when you were in middle school. So this really is for the middle grade audience. It tackles super embarrassing things. As you can see here on this spread that I'm sharing, a girl has nearly missed her seat by just a smidge, and she feels like the entire world is laughing at her. We've all been there in some way or another. So this book handles that in a really fun, light way. So you can see here the overwhelming swell of embarrassment that she feels in the beginning, and then on the other page it's like, oh, but maybe it wasn't just that so bad, only like one person saw me. So it tackles different points of embarrassment throughout, like that, saying I love you to your teacher. Really silly, funny stuff, in a comic style. Really great. Next up, from Erewhon Books, our science fiction fantasy imprint, we have Rise of the Red Hand, and this one I'm really excited about. It is fantastic, and you'll see Olivia on the YA panel, but she has written a really great book for us here. It takes place in the South Asia province, and it is split in this world into two sides. There is the uplanders, those who are born and living in the lap of luxury. They live in a climate-controlled biodome, and there is also this really interesting genetic therapy that keeps them young for a very long time. And then there's the other side of things. You have the poor group of people on the other side, and they're battling, and striving in a very tumultuous terrain. They've got rising water levels. They have unbreathable air. There are deadly bugs. You cannot forget about the deadly bugs. Very important. As well as black market robotics and cyborgs. So we have our heroine here on the cover who teams up with a hacker who just happens to be the son of a prominent politician. And they have teamed up to take down the bad guys and save the day. So definitely don't miss this one. Fast, fun, exciting read. Girlhood Teens Around the World in Their Own Voices. This is from Masuma Ajua, and it is just fantastic. It follows 30 different teens from all around the world, and it is their experience of their day-to-day life. It is ordinary teen voices, but shown in a way that is so different when juxtaposed to the other. The photographs are from the teens themselves, and what I really love about this book, I think especially timely, is that This book gives you a way to connect to other people, not virtually, but in print on the physical page. And that's something that we haven't been able to do in a little while. So, you know, I think it just gives us another level, a different way to connect with people rather than this virtual space that we're all finding ourselves in. Last but not least, I have Foreshadow, YA fiction anthology from Nova Rensuma and Emily XR Pan. They created this platform as a YA serial anthology for the web, and Algonquin Young Readers is publishing it in print for the first time. So this is a truly remarkable group of stories, and it shares 13 brand new voices in YA, but they are actually introduced by existing and beloved and legendary YA powerhouses. Think Laurie Halse Anderson, Jason Reynolds, Nicola Yoon. Really fantastic, amazing stories from magical realism to romance to thrillers. You know, there's something for everyone in here. And what I also love about this is that Emily and Nova have created these craft writing pieces to go alongside of the fiction stories. And that really gives another layer to this book. If you have any aspiring writers or, you know, think that you may come in contact with any aspiring YA writers, teams in the future, this is the book for them. It really is just great, and they tackle some big questions that they would have, and a lot of the process of writing and editing. So this book truly celebrates the magic of reading and writing YA. That's it for me today. If you have any questions or need a galley or just want to chat about a book or have any questions about the books that I mentioned today, you can find me here at my email or my phone number. I have 2 newsletters, Greeting from Workman's Library Land, which covers Workman and all of its imprints that we talked about today and more, as well as I Love Middle Grade. I Love Middle Grade is all middle grade all the time. So if you're just interested in the middle grade space, that newsletter is for you. If you want both, sign up for both. You can also follow us on Instagram, that you can find adult and children's publications at Workman Library. And then you can find me on Twitter as well, where I do a lot of talking about books and Animal Crossing, because I'm obsessed with Animal Crossing. So if you are as well, please hit me up on Twitter and we can virtually visit each other's islands. It was so nice chatting with you guys, and I hope you're having the best time at Day of Dialogue, and I look forward to seeing you all in person next year. Thanks.